Tusen tack för att ni har kommit. Hör alla vad jag säger här? Är det så? För att jag är född med en svag röst. Jag hoppas att mina ord är starkare än den. Är det okej att jag kör det här på engelska? Jag vet jag kommer att låta lite som Dolph Lundgren, men det är att i och med att det filmas och i och med att det är en del av den här informationen är viktig att få ut, tycker åtminstone jag, så sprider sig, den har ett mycket större spridningsområde om det är på engelska. Så om det är okej, så okej. So here comes Dolph. When I was invited to come here, I put it out on the internet that I was going here. I was going to do a tour in Sweden, Stockholm, Malmö, Gothenburg. And I got an email saying that it wouldn't really be very wise for me to come here. And it would be better if I stayed at home. So because of that, I come incognito. So now you don't know who I am. Anyway, first of all, also, I want to say that I thank you for coming here. I really respect you for being here. And I honor and salute you, because it's people like you who are part of making a change in this world. We are at a point in history, I would say, a very important one and a wonderful one, but very challenging, because there are powers that are trying to scare the living crap out of us to be able to control us. And they have been able to get away with these things for many years because we have been absolute brain dead and asleep. And apparently we've had needed very strong measures for us to start waking up. So I see this as a time of great awakening. There's a lot of people waking up to what's going on. I see it as a spiritual awakening as well, because this is it's almost like a force between darkness and light. And I also see it as an awakening of knowledge, because we have to understand what is going on so that we can start making up our own opinion of how to deal with it. And also so we're not duped and tricked into believing things that are absolutely not true, because they are controlling us with lies, propaganda, and things like this. So thank you so much for coming here. I think it's wonderful. People have even come far, which is amazing. I've come from Spain, and so I thank Cui Bono for inviting me. I would also say that Cui Bono, if you listen to the name, it's a very well picked name, I think, because it means who benefits. Who benefits. And when you see these type of things that we are going to look at, it's very important to see what is actually happening, because it's only when you start seeing what is going on that you know where the so-called enemy is. Because we are being tricked into believing that the enemy is over there, when actually I would humbly suggest, that the truth is different. So tonight, since after I was invited here, a lot of things has happened in the world. I was going to talk about the Kennedy assassination, the Olof Palme, the connection, all of these things. But since then, a lot of so-called terror acts have taken place. And it's come to a point, I've spent, like, for you who don't know about me, I'm just an ordinary guy, a former journalist who got very obsessed in learning the truth about the JFK assassination in the early 80s. It started for me in the 80s. And then that took me into the assassination of Robert Kennedy, Martin Luther King, and so on. And I spent thousands and thousands of hours looking into it. This was before the internet, really. It was before public didn't really know about it. Nobody cared. It was before the JFK movie, long before that, and so on. And it came to a point where I started seeing that, oh my God, we're being lied to big time. And how is it possible that after all of these years, the lies are still being pumped at us through media? Still the same crap about one lone crazy guy doing the shooting in all of these different ones. When the facts, if you just use Farmer Brown logic, which I am a big fan of, that logic works like this: 1 + 1 = 2. If you say 1 + 1 = 35, I know that you lie. It doesn't matter if you got a white robe on and a big title and you can show something in 3D animation, it's still a lie. And when you look into these conspiracies and these big events, I like to dissect and take them apart so that you will, normal Farmer Brown logic, can see for yourself what really happened, because it's only then that you can start tracking back who is behind it, what is the power behind it, who are the people carrying it out, why are they doing, and who benefits. I can tell you who loses every time, and that has been us all the time for decades and decades and decades. Anyway, so my website is Light on Conspiracies. That is also a very hand-picked name, Light on Conspiracies, because I come from a point of I want to totally fearlessly expose the darkness, what is going on, the methods they're using, the people naming the facts, all of these things, but from a point of non-violent, absolute, no hatred, no nothing, just I want it to stop. I want it to stop, because they have been messing up our lives in ways that most people have they can't even imagine the magnitude of it. So, this one is called Political Murders and False Flag Operations. Tonight I'm going to focus mostly on false flag operations, and especially the latest ones, just taking it apart, showing you the details. Then it's up to you to see for yourself. I'm not here to persuade anyone. I'm not here to ask you to believe me or not criticize me, totally up to you. But I'm here to offer 30 years of my life as a researcher to say, please look for yourself. Become aware of possible different versions than the ones you're being pumped through media, and then you will start seeing that, oh my God, it's here we should focus our attention, not over there. So, I have been given a technical device. Let me see. The creation of an enemy. All the way since the old Roman times, we've had small elite groups that have said, we are better than you, and we are going to use you as slaves and control you, but how do we do it? Because we are only very few and you are so many. How do you do it? How do you control a population? And the old Romans were absolute experts on doing that, and they developed different methods that have been used ever since. This is the really good news, because there are only very few templates they're using, very few methods. So if we can just start seeing how they pull it off, then we can also start becoming aware. So the next time a so-called massacre or so-called terror act happens, you know already to start with, wait until I just hang on a second, let me check out the facts for myself before I buy into the official version. Okay? And one of their absolute favorites is problem, reaction, solution. This is an old Roman one, and they pull it off for hundreds of years, duping us, the normal people, into believing that it is something else than it is. I'm just going to show you problem, reaction, solution. The thing is, let's say, for instance, that I'm the one in power in a country, and I want the police to be absolute totalitarian. I want the tanks in the streets. I want the police to be able to kick in doors, to put people away forever and ever without the ability to get a lawyer. I want people to accept total surveillance. I'm describing the states almost nowadays. But how would I do it? How would I do it to get the population to accept this type of thing? The only way I can do it, I mean, I have the power to do it, being in the top position in that country. I could just do it. And they did it in Latin America and these type of things funded by the CIA. And so they did it a lot in the 70s, where they did military coups. So they funded an overtake, and boom, overnight, their people got in power, took over, kicked out the old president and so on. But what happened was that when the population woke up the next morning saying, oh my God, there's a dictator on the throne, the problem started. Because then you started having problems with uprisings, with demonstrations, guerrilla movements, all of these things. So I, the one who took over, had to put thousands of people in jail. Then I had to torture them to tell them where are all the other ones who are hiding. I had to put, in the end I had, it very, very messy, and in the end I had to have almost as many military people in the streets and police and so on to control the population. So very, very messy. Not a good way to do it. The way to do it is to secretly create a problem. I'm the one creating it, and nowadays this problem is almost always in the form of a bomb, a terror act, a mass shooting, a virus, something that will scare the living bejesus out of you, because the reaction they want is that the people, us, will go, oh my God, save us, save us, save us. And then we will turn towards the one that we elected to deal with these kind of problems, not knowing that I was the one creating the problem. The population would turn towards me and say, help us, save us. And I would say, okay, but the only way I can save you is, and here comes the solution. And the solution is always something we would never, ever have accepted had it not been for the problem. This is so important to become aware of. Problem, reaction, solution. And you will see that these ones are carried out in the hundreds over the years. I would humbly suggest that more or less all wars in modern times are based on false flag operations. We find out like 40 years after the Vietnam War, the Second World War, the First World War, how they were based on false flag operations. You know, like how one country, I'm going to tell you why it's called false flag operation. It's an old naval term, and it was in the old days where if you wanted to go and just knock out a country and invade, rape, plunder, that type of thing, the thing is, when you do a thing like that, you can do it, but you have problems with your neighbors. You have problems with people, other countries that you negotiate with, all of these things. So what they did was, they just, instead of just invading a country and then having to deal with the effects with their neighbors and so on, what they did was, they took one of their own ships, put the enemy flag on it, then attacked themselves and saying, oh my God, we're being attacked. And then that justified them just hammering the crap out of that country. Problem, reaction, solution, false flag operation. So this is the thing, they secretly create an enemy. They always need an enemy out there to get the reaction from us, to come with a solution. Problem, reaction, solution. I can't repeat it enough because it is so incredibly central in what's going on today. So one of the things I'm going to show today is the Paris one. These are the latest ones, and they have been prepared for a long time. They've been carried out for a long time, these things. And when it comes to nowadays, the mass shootings is, the problem is the mass shooting, to get the reaction, oh my God, and the solution is give up your weapons, because we're talking about a global elite. I'm going to talk a lot about them, but I'm going to name them as well, so be patient with me. They want the weapons to be the problem. That's why you have all the mass shootings in the States. That's where the population are armed, and that's where, when there is a so-called mass shooting, they don't say, my God, we need to get a lot of psychiatrists in, a lot of mental health care people and so on, to deal with these people, because they're crazy. They're always lone and crazy. No, they say, give up the weapons. It's the weapon that is the problem. And it's automatic weapons, and it's this, and they go down. I mean, in the end, they're going to ask you to give up your knives and forks, you know, because it's only, you can see that in history, dictators have done that over and over again. When they take over, or when they're on the way to take over, de-arm the population. Get their weapons away. Once that's done, boom, in we move, take over. And here we have, I want to say with these false flag operations, I would humbly suggest that what we're looking upon is a whole machine. You've got staged event nowadays, you've got PR like public relations company, marketing companies behind it, because they want to go to our subconscious, how to seduce our minds to accept their solution. That's the whole thing, to accept it. So they pump us in many, many ways that we're not aware of. So I'm going to point these things out as well. I'm not saying that all of what I'm pointing out is 100% correct. I don't know. I'm not part of it. I can just point them out, and then you can see it's a coincidence or not. But when it comes like again and again and again and again and again, you start having to think that there might be something about it. And when you look at big political assassinations or so-called terror acts or blowing things up or these, for some strange reason, I can go into that as well, but they are very, they love different dates, like 9/11, 7/7. They love numerology. They love ritualistic things. They love picking the site for an assassination or a terror act and so on. They're often very handpicked, and they're symbolic thing, so that maybe where somebody is assassinated, when you look into the history behind it, it's exactly where people used to be executed in the old days, or it's a Freemasonry, some kind of thing, or it's very close to a Freemasonry temple, or so on. So I'm going to point out things like that as well. The people behind this, I'm gonna call them the global elite. They call themselves the global elite. It's a small, then only a few thousand in total, a small group of people, hand-picked people from different countries, and gather in secret groups in a power pyramid shape globally. So I think it's very important to look at this on a level where you're not thinking that the States are doing this and France are doing this and England is doing that as separate entities. We're talking about networks of people handpicked in these different countries. And some of these networks are groups like the Bilderberg Group, the Trilateral Commission, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Committee of 300. Many people have never ever heard about these groups, but that is where you start, when you start really finding out who are involved in these groups, you will see the patterns, how one prime minister in one country goes out, say one thing, then somebody on the other side of the Atlantic Sea suddenly says exactly the same. Then you have a prime minister over here saying, I totally agree with you, even though we never met or spoke or something, but they have, because they're in the same group. So also around many of these false flag operations, you will find out, for instance, with the Bilderberg Group, which is one group that I focused a lot on, is that the person before Bilderberger, the event, the person part of doing things and the ordering of the thing, Bilderberger, then the person going out in the media afterwards saying, oh my God, it's awful, we have to do all of these Bilderbergers, the people supporting them in other countries saying Bilderbergers, or in Paris when they gather together. These are hidden networks. It's not by coincidence these people are walking side by side in Paris saying, oh my God, we need to confront this. I would say problem, reaction, solution. They are the solution. Why are they? Because they are in it. They are in it. So, am I totally off my rockers? Am I fantasizing? Am I totally into a world of conspiracy? Or is there something about what I'm going to tell you? Now, the latest theme for this global elite is that part of the structure is the power structure behind the state of Israel. I'm not talking about Jewish people as a religion or group, and we're talking about the power structure. And at the moment, I would say that, especially lately, they've had a lot of problems because they've been criticized so much for their dealing with Palestine. So now they're trying to get out of that one to, instead of being the bad boys, point at someone else. This is the trick. They want to divert your attention over here so that we are the victim. This is my take. I'm just suggesting it, that this is the theme at the moment. And what they've done is that they're using historical things And like now, it's 70 years since the liberation of Auschwitz and other things. The whole spring here was the end of the Second World War, where we got rid of Nazism, and where the Jews were the victims, the people of Israel and so on. I hope very much that you understand this has nothing to do with anti-Semitism or criticism of these people. I'm just showing the theme that is going on at the moment, to the theme that could possibly explain what is going on. So, we have here a situation where they want an attacker from the outside to threaten the population so that they can come in with the solution. The solution is every single time more and more centralized power to fewer and fewer people, more militarized police, more surveillance control. You give up your liberties, you give up your rights, you give up your civil rights, you accept more and more bondage, you accept them spending billions on things that you have absolutely no use for had it not been for your protection. It's always for your protection because they care very much for you, not. So here we have a so-called terror act where if you haven't seen what happened in Paris, it's said that we have two Muslim brothers. Can I just say about patsies? Part of these false flag operation is the patsy. They need someone to blame it on. And the patsy, in the old days, in the Cold War, were the Russians, the Bulgarians, the East Germans. Those were the boogeymen. Whoa! You see James Bond movies, who are the bad guys? The East Germans, all of these things. Then, when the wall came down and suddenly there was no Cold War, who are we going to blame? The Bulgarians doesn't work anymore. The Russians are our friends. I mean, what are we going to do? So they tried for a little while with the outer space, the alien threat. That didn't work because we were like, not scary at all. So what are we going to do? We need another boogeyman. The Danish people, no, it doesn't really work. They don't look threatening. What are we going to do? Polish, could do, but it's a bit out of date because of they used to be the boogeyman. No, South African, the black population, we already used them a lot as, black equals criminal. That's pump it in. Has absolutely no truth in it, but that's the media pump it in there. So who are we going to do? Who can we use? The Muslims. Ooh, that's a great group because they look really good in media if it's about a boogeyman. They've got big mustaches, black eyes, black hair, dark skin. They come from countries you have absolutely no idea where it is, and their name can be Abdul Mahum Bahalahab. My God, he is scary. That's the one. So that's what they used. So they said, because the thing is, if you said that John Smith came with a bomb in a bus, no, come on, you're pulling my leg. If you say Abdul Karim Karumkar came with a Quran and a bomb in a bus, you would say, oh my God, I need protection here because Abdul Karim Karimkar, he is dangerous. I know that because look at him, he looks scary. I'm sure he's got a knife on his bed and so on. So it's just like in the old days, in the old Wild West movies, the good guy, white hat, white horse, white shirt. The bad guy, dark skin, unshaven, black hat, black horse, black shirt. It's like we're so thick sometimes. No disrespect, I'm one of you, I'm one of us, being absolute, so open to ping pong with our brains. So this is, I would suggest, how the Muslims came in to this. And this poor group of people, oh my God, have they been hammered with this thing? Because we've been so pumped over the years with this propaganda, Islam, Muslim, terrorism, bombs, all of these things, that nowadays, if you say Muslim, I bet your brain will say, ooh, he's Muslim. Or Islam, terrorism, I know that one, because they want to take over the world. That is for sure. I know that. They want to kill all of us, because I know that, because I heard it somewhere. And I'm sure they want total world domination. And they're breeding, they have so many babies. And so that's it. Abdul Karim Karumkara, terrorist. I would very much suggest that most Muslim people are just like every other people on earth. They look for a happy life. They want to take care of their children. They want to have a party with their friends from time to time and just have a quiet, peaceful life. They are so not into world domination or blowing up bombs or anything like that at all. Anyway, so, because I always also want to say that at the moment, somebody like me is the new terrorist. I don't know about you, but I don't feel very violent or threatening. But we're coming to a point where truth seekers are the new one. So I'm not kidding. I'm already on list, joined by other people that I really admire. So anyway, that's why I have my shades, so they don't know who I am. Anyway, so the theme of this spring is they need to get away with this, to get away the bad reputation of, the bad reputation at the moment from, I'm just going to wait a little. Do you see how easy we divert our attention? This is one of the things they do also. When they do these bomb things or something like, either it is to accomplish something, to blame someone, or it's to divert the attention. This is why they say, when something happens, do not look at that. Sometimes I'll give a speech like this. I have a small explosion or balloons exploding in the back. Everybody turns around. I move around. Maybe I change my shirt or something like that. When people turn around back, I'm here. So I'm saying, so what happened? Oh, it wasn't anything. Nothing happened. Yes, it did. I moved from here to there. I changed my shirt. And people have not seen it because you're so focused on what's over there. This is how they do it. So when you hear about these things, be aware of what's going on other sides. You know, like Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky, this thing, for months we were looking here. Did he give him a blowjob or not? Did he, and the whole media was looking here while there was all the Iran-Contras, all this crap was going on behind the scene. Go, 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 go. Yeah, no, she did. And Clinton, I would never lie to you. Yes, you would, you just did. Go, go, go. And then once that was sorted, I'm sorry, I lied. Yes, you did. And this is the way they do it. And then he's forgiven because he was honest enough to admit that he lied. This was where the action was. So when you see these things on TV, do not buy into, check it out, have alternative, have a wide angle, because diversion or problem, reaction, solution. So we have this thing in Paris. And one of the things that they love doing, because we're so intelligent and so open-minded, that we would never buy this if you do not hit patriotism. That's the one that always works. You're not a patriot. Oh my God, I am. Or the freedom of speech, because then it's a matter of me and somebody's threatening me. So they love that one. That's the theme for the current theme. The people behind these operations are not very clever, in my opinion. They have not a lot of imagination. So they do reruns of old shows. And this one, the latest one, started with the Salman Rushdie, the Satanic Verses, if you remember that, where Khomeini, Ayatollah Khomeini, he put a death threat on a writer called Salman Rushdie because he had written about the Prophet's mother in not very nice wordings. Had Khomeini not put a death threat on him, nobody had read the book, because it's not a very good book, I think. Instead, it went global. There was this massive thing, and I don't know if that was a false flag or not, or a psyop, but there was an incredible attention about this book and the whole thing about Islam, and you can't say anything about the Prophet. That was part one. Then part two was a Danish magazine called Jyllands-Posten, that made cartoons on Muhammad. Oh my God, boom! Then you have these pictures of people burning Danish flags in in Iran, Pakistan, and so on. I've been in Iran, I've been to Pakistan. I also seen TV teams film a riot. I was standing here, people were rioting there because they were paid for it. There were like 30 people throwing rocks. It was quiet, it was good, it was nice. People were sitting in the cafes, but there where they were filming, there was a riot. Do not buy into these things. Filming flags, do you know how easy it is to get children? You give them an ice cream, you say, here's a match, could you please light that one? And then it's the American flag. It goes all over the world. Oh my God, look, the whole Iran, Pakistan, Sudan, Libya, they're crazy and they want world domination. No, they wanted an ice cream. You gave them an ice cream, they got an ice cream. Don't buy into it. I loved the one. The US were, I think they were invading Somalia or Eritrea or something like that. They came in army boats, and I've seen different cuts of it because they came, the Marines come, they jumped down from the boat. There's some local military people, they chopped them down and they, all of these things. No, and then you hear, no, can you do it again? Because the sound wasn't really good. Okay, sorry. Back in the boats. No, you have dry pants, please. You can't say that you already been. Okay, he has to redress again. Are you okay there? Yeah, okay. Can we have some gunfire in the background? Little more, maybe a bomb. That's it. Keep it going. Okay, landing. Whoop. And boom. Okay, standing better. Yeah, thank you. But this is what we are being pumped, these type of things. So I would humbly suggest again, what you look at, just because it's through this black box, doesn't make it true. Possibly true, possibly not. So anyway, the theme is attack of this freedom of speech. Also, there's a theme at the moment saying that the Jewish population has to come back to Israel. I'm saying this because that is the solution that is being presented after these actions. Come back. Why they want that, I'm not sure. Anyway, so you got two brothers who have gone, they have said, okay, we're Muslims, and here, I said the Danish newspaper did cartoons about that. There was this whole thing going on. Then a Swedish artist, Lars Vilks, made an awful drawing. It is so bad. About Muhammad, it's really ugly, very badly done. He's not a very talented artist. Muhammad and with the body of a dog, okay? That was in 2007. So these Muslims, they didn't have anything better to do, maybe reacting against unjust wars in their countries, millions of people being killed. No. That drawing really pissed them off. So Lars Vilks had death threats and had bodyguards and still has. Since 2007 is the official story. I'm just pointing it out. I don't know, doesn't really make sense to me, that it's only like 8 years of bodyguards because he made an absolute awful drawing. Okay. Then we have chapter 3, Charlie Hebdo, cartoons on Muslims, and then we have the fourth one in Copenhagen. Lars Vilks again, welcome back, our total favorite. And he was at the meeting where he had made drawings of Muhammad as a dog. Okay. So here are these two brothers. They love brothers when it comes to terrorists. Why they do that, I've had it explained to me by people who know better than I. They say that the brothers or the twins are part of a ritualistic, when they sacrifice things, including the Twin Towers. There's a lot of films where there's twins, where there's two towers, all of these things. I don't know, I'm just pointing it out. Anyway, so here again we have two brothers, and these brothers were so upset with this newspaper. Once again, not that thousands of people or children were being killed in Muslim countries like Iraq and Sudan. No. That drawing. So what they decided was, we're going to go on a suicide mission because it's worth it. We're going to kill a lot of people, and then, we're going to make a lot of mess about it. So they were very, very careful. They said, okay, what I'm going to bring an automatic weapon. No, two, because we're two. Black clothes, balaclava, so nobody can recognize us. boots, and my ID. I mustn't forget my ID. Okay, thank God for that. Okay. I just want to point out the ID that they found. Please remember the passport from 9/11. Also, this is the thing, you know, you have this, once again, suicide bombers. What are we going to do? We're going to hijack the hits. It's a national flight. It's not an international flight, but I mustn't forget my passport. I brought the VHS, How to Fly a 757. I brought the Quran, balaclavas, the cutters, what more, my passport. Okay, so you got these 500,000 tons building coming down, being totally pulverized with a method that is still to this day a bit of a mystery. Everything that there's no furniture, no bodies, not everything just get pulverized except one passport. And then, I'm very sorry, but these 9 of these hijackers, I think it was at least 9, were still alive afterwards. Messy, messy, messy. Okay, so thank God they remembered his ID, because otherwise they would never have been able to track them down. Okay, so they have a random spray of shooting. They go, of course, this newspaper. They hate the newspaper, Charlie Hebdo. I mean, that's the target of their hatred. So, of course, they know where it is. No, sorry, they did not. But they did know where a woman who was working there had her child in the daycare center. So they stalked her and got her to show where the newspaper was. I mean, they could have the phone book, the internet. I don't know if that is too much to ask, but no, sorry, they did not know. Okay, so they grab her. She was there on her way to a meeting, so she was there to pick up her son on the way to the meeting. Normally, if I go to a meeting, I would drop off my son and then go to the meeting. No, the son was with him. But then, on the way to this horrible massacre, the son just disappears. You will see that is also a recurring thing, that people drop out of the timeline. Sometimes there are 2 shooters in the car, everything, and suddenly the guy that is later killed and murdered and had to take the whole blame, one person. I would say clumsy. Okay, so what they do is they get her to show them where the newspaper is. There's sometimes you hear there were guards outside that was killed. Then other versions say that she told the story that no, she had to let them in there. Then they go in there and they do this whole massacre. I am not sure if there were people killed here or not, because with these false flag operations nowadays, it's very, very hard to know what is real, what is not. And sometimes there are people getting killed, and part of it is fake, but to blame somebody else. In this occasion, I do not know. I will come back to when I know more of the evidence here. Anyway, so they massacre all of these things, all of these people, then they jump into the car, they take off big time, and then there's this, I'm sure you've seen this video where they jump out of the car, there's a police officer, they shoot him, they run by, give him a headshot, run back into the car, take off. Then there's a big gunfight with a police car. The police car takes off. It just accelerates, and it goes on and on and on for days. So you see, it's all over the place. And then suddenly they had 2 more people. And who are the other people? We're back to Muslim, or black skin. This is the thing. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So we start looking at some evidence, or just look at the crime scene. I try to always to come to the crime scene without any pre-opinions. I just look at the facts and see what happened, how was it carried out, because the truth is very simple. What happened. If I drop something, it goes from here and it's there. There's no, the light, the angles, the shadows, whatever, you will all see it fall. You can have different angles, but it's still the thing that happened. So when it looks to something like this, it should be continuous, it should be correct, there would be no differences. It would make sense. I want to point out also that I spent many years in Sweden here looking into the assassination of the Swedish Prime Minister. I was part of this little group that the media called privatspanare. And I lost 2 friends that was murdered. I was threatened. I left Sweden because it was getting too close. So I moved to Mallorca, and on Mallorca, because we started from absolute scratch, I got a job everywhere I could, and one of the jobs I got was at Palme Pictures, which is a Swedish-owned film company down there. So my job, since I'm an awful actor, was a background. I was an extra. So I was one of these people that you see on films. I can walk from here also. I'm really good at that. I can chew chewing gum at the same time. And so the thing was, I was sitting, I must say, if I can brag, I played against Daniel Craig as an extra. I was running in the background. You can see a film with him, and my elbow is in it. Anyway, so I spent many, many hours because it's very, very boring. It's such, I mean, you have to, as an extra, you have to be there at 5 o'clock in the morning because there's so many of you, so they do the makeup, the dressing, all of these things. And then once you start getting close to the actual filming of it, then they come in with the actors and the director and all of these things. So it's very important to see how, or at least I spend many, many hours being bored at these. So instead of being absolutely bored to tears, I thought it was interesting, how do they make films? What is this cable for? And how do you do the lighting? How do they do the makeup? And I was just, also because I was hoping to get a job with them, I was helping them everywhere in film productions. And most of the time, the things I was part of was like chewing gum commercials. I've done Fanta. I'm one of the people sitting on the beach in the background. Or I've done Italian chewing gum. I've been SJ-reklam. I was the night guard who says, "So you're working late," but in Swedish. These type of things. Absolutely brain dead type of work. But I got a view into how they make films. And one of the things where you have a film shoot in a town, the way it's done is the producers have to go to the local authorities. They get the permission to shut off the streets because they need total control of the area. All the vehicles moving in the background, their vehicle. All the people walking in the background, doing whatever it is, they need the background to be continuous, the same. Whatever take they use or cut together, the background needs to do the same. Because you can't have, for me, if I stand here in the background and then the man talking to the woman, then they cut back, and then suddenly I'm standing over here. It would just jump like that, and people would say, "Come on." So every time you do a take, they would put cue markers, what is called cue markers, a white dot, for instance, like that. They say to me, "Okay, you, Mr. Brain Dead Extra, this is point A, and when we scream, background action, you walk towards point B." Okay, so background action, I start walking. And what they also say, do not look into the camera. Whatever you do, do not look into the camera. Okay, so because if you have people like this, it's not good. It's not good. Or also you need total control of the people involved, because otherwise, I've seen this on a Fanta commercial on a beach on Mallorca where there was a German nudist who came into the background. I tell you, I was laughing my head off. He was standing like that, and the director was just started crying, "Get that naked gay guy out of here." Yeah. So you need total control of the area. So, and everyone in the background had cue markers, so if Patrick was there, he had from working to there, I was here to there, everyone in the background, including vehicles, and the vehicles, cars, because you need camera angles, lighting, all of these things, so they would say, okay, the car comes in there, and you need to stop there. They made cue markers so the driver could see where to stop and so on. So often the cue markers were in this direction and in this as well. So the driver, okay, here, so that he would do exactly the same every time. You can see that also in action movies where cars are turning over and like that. Check out the asphalt. You will very often see if a car comes skidding around like that, there's 4 or 5 before already when the budget is low. The high quality movies, you don't have that. But you will see, because there's been rehearsal. So, okay, the car comes, okay, an action again, okay, you change the angle, Okay, that's good. Okay, and now go. So you have the tire tracks. Yeah. So we look at this thing. I'm sorry the quality is not so good. But here we have an awful event. If what happened, happened, awful. You have these two brothers that they stop the car, they run out, and there's a shooting going on. You see that there's, by very lucky coincidence, there's a guy up on the balcony filming, and it's authentic because the camera is shaking. You know, that's authenticity. Oh my God, it's an amateur film, so it must be real. So the camera is shaking, and then you see these guys. They jump out and run over, and you hear the shots fire, bum, 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 bum. The camera goes over. There's this police officer here, high tech, rolling around saying, "Oh my God, I've been hit." And then they run past him, shoot him in the head, and run back into the car. If it happened, absolutely awful. We have a look. Every single take in Paris were in small back streets. No other traffic at all, only parked cars, no pedestrians, nothing else moving except what we were being shown. So here you have, we look here, you see the line there, right under the center of the car. This is what they normally show you, like when you come driving, okay, here, go, okay. And then you have sideways, that's where it's supposed to stop. So this is how you normally do on a film set. I would just say that line is what it would be had it been a film set. And here, it's a trainer. That trainer belongs to the people because when they run back into the car, they grab it and throw it in the car. So, but you check out, both of them got shoes on. You hear the shots fired. In the background, if you turn up the volume really loud, you will hear in the background their children playing, laughing. Then the shots are fired, bam, 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 like this. And you listen to the sound, children playing, laughing. Naturally, if you've been to war zones or if you've been where people start shooting, people freak out. People scream or get very quiet, but they run, you know, or mothers say, come, come, or something like that. Here, children laughing. I'm just pointing out things, and then you can make up your own opinion. Then you will also see, I'm sorry you cannot see it, but when this guy runs up here, there's a white Q marker on the pavement. There's a white spot, exactly the ones, like the ones that I used to walk towards. Okay, he passes, he runs by the police officer, and when he's, the place where he goes down from the pavement again towards the street, white Q marker. On the street where he turns back, white Q marker. Exactly the way it would have been had it been a film set. Okay, so you listen to the sounds. You have, when the camera is shaking, you have the gunshot, boom, boom, very loud gunshots, very impressive gunshot. You analyze the sound, and I've done sound engineering and different things, film music and so on. You check out the sound, the echo on the sound, and you check it with a shots being recorded where there's an open space, where there's a building on one side with an open space, or where there are buildings on both sides. The sound echo is recorded as if there were buildings on both sides, the echo effect. Here, on that side, there's an open space with a park. But because it's a sound between houses, the effect is much more powerful. And the idea, should this be a fake event, is to get the emotions going. Oh my God, it's awful. So you look at, so we got the sound strange, we got the position, we got the shoe strange. Then also, I'm going to show out later that this car, as far as I've been able to find out, it's a Citroën C3 2014 with these white lights there and chrome side mirrors. Now the car that was found, with the ID, was a Citroën C3 from 2013 with black side mirrors, different wheels. I mean, come on guys, clumsy, I would say. Then you have shots are being fired. The police officer is already down there. He's rolling around like this. So he must have been hit or something like that. And the normal human reaction, if you get hit or hurt, is you put your hands on it. If it's a gunshot, of course, there should be some amount of blood because we're talking like a high-velocity automatic weapon, AK-47. And so, of course, when the so-called terrorist runs by him or towards him, he goes like this. So is there blood on his hands? No. Normally, I would say blood would be on his hands like this. Then you have the awful headshot as well. Anyone who's been to war zones or seen homicides, it's an awful, I mean, it is really awful. And the impact on a head on that distance with a weapon like that, oh my God. Then you see here, if you slow down, slow motion, zoom in, there's no recoil whatsoever from this AK-47. That is not the way it is. It is a powerful weapon and no recoil whatsoever. There is a sound from a shot though, but that sound had the echo effect from being recorded somewhere else. Okay, so you see him, he runs by, he's totally relaxed as well, because if you've been to a situation like this, that normally, if it's a real thing, there's a lot of adrenaline, a lot of pumped up, people are tensed, of course, and it's a shootout. So you would be like that, you would be aware, these guys are out having a jog, boom, headshot. Why? I don't even want to look, I don't bother, did I hit, did I not? He's just taking a run and then back into the car. Almost like this is not this shot that they think was the one being used. I would say this would be that they used that maybe for some reason, it was a better angle or something like that. But it doesn't seem like they were really the ones that when they were going for, at least they're very relaxed. You see no recoil, you see no impact on the head whatsoever. There's no blood, there's no brain matter, there's nothing where the head should more or less explode from a shot like that on that point blank distance. Then you see it looks like, okay, so he missed the head and it looks like there's a ricochet from the pavement. But when you really zoom in on it, you will see that the smoke comes from his left hand. And you will see there's one frame, if you go frame, you can see there's a little black smoke canister in his hand. So the smoke comes upwards and in a right angle from his hand. So he's rolling around, boom, like that. And then afterwards, they added the sound. So I would say what we're looking at, no shots fired, this is the action, and then smoke goes off, and then afterwards they timed it with the sound to make it sound like it was for real. I'm just saying Farmer Brown logic, okay? Then we have the body that was, of course, this headshot. I mean, my God, his head was exploded, all of these things. You have the medical staff that comes to the scene. What do? Of course, it's a headshot. We give him CPR. I don't know about you, but if I had a hole in my head, this would not be the best thing to do. Is it? But it looks good. It looks good. So they take this poor guy, who was a Muslim, by the way, bit of a bummer. I mean, here we are revenging the Muslim honor, and then we kill one of our own. Okay. Anyway, so they take the body up on the stretcher. Is there blood on the pavement? No. Is there blood on the stretcher afterwards? No. It's only a headshot from a massive gun. Okay. Then afterwards, we have BBC. BBC is a wonderful network that have a very, very strange habit of appearing when it comes to these things. Do you remember 9/11? Do you remember Building 7? Do you remember the English reporter, a female, saying, oh my God, it's very tragic because Building 7 had just come down. I'm very sorry, you're 20 minutes early. Please calm down. The building is still standing behind you. Bad timeline, problems with time differences, time zones. It's not easy. I don't envy these people because it's not easy to carry them out. But anyway, so BBC, that was one. And then BBC here, I'm going to come back to BBC because I love them because they really can mess things up. Then on this one, you have this reporter afterwards, and he's He's standing there. It's an awful tragedy. We're standing here on the side. You can see here there were 3 flowers and 2 candles or something like that. Really, because I think people are waking up to the fact they're not buying into it as much as before. So he's standing there, and here you can see where the blood has been put on the pavement. His words, and this is where the blood has been put on the pavement. So you check out, where is the blood that has been put on the pavement? Of course, they put it exactly where his head was. No, sorry, it's 1 meter out of shape. There's a poster, an ad sign, where you can measure the distance from the body, the head, everything. Sorry, we messed up. But who cares? I mean, they're untouchable anyway. And of course, it's just a little blood because there was no blood there. No, it's like 4 square meters of blood all over the place. So, what do you think? Was it a real event? Was it not? The balance is almost there. And then here we have, I give to you, the Citroën C3 2014. Chrome side mirrors, other wheels, there's the lamps. Here's the one where they're shooting. Yeah, you see the spoke. And here's the one they found. Different wheels, different black side mirrors, bit of a mess, not so good. Anyway, I would say major mess up. Come on, guys. Sometimes I think, I'm going to go there. My finances is not so good. Hire me. I know what to look for. I know what to be aware of because this is what I've focused on. So, but I was joking there. I would never deal with these people. So here we have the next real drama. Oh my God, it's so dramatic. So once again, we have a back street, absolutely no other vehicles, no pedestrians, nothing. And of course, there's this dramatic shootout. It's a one-way street, but of course the police is driving from the other way. And somehow it's standing, doesn't matter, but it's a strange angle for the police car. But these 2 guys, they think that they're James Bond. Before this photo is taken, he's hanging out on the side doing all of this, really. And both of them are shooting. They drive up and do. So you look at this police car is apparently hit here. You can't see that when it's happening. But you can see it when the car crashes afterwards because the police car starts reversing very fast and goes this direction. And there's another street here, a small empty street, where it passes right across and hammers into a parked car. That's the official story. There are bullet holes in the police car and all these things. Very dramatic. So, of course, I just want to point out one thing also. Here, this window is shut out. There's no glass in it. The car that is later abandoned and found, there's glass in the rear window. Magic windows, magic cars, magic models. So here, this police car has just gone absolutely, wow, pow, crashed right into this car. So of course, the impact must fit. But if you see the dent in the car is up here, not down there. And when you see the type of car, the impact should be down here. Do you see what I'm saying? Because sometimes when you look at the Woolwich beheading and other things like this, you will see that the vehicle has just been taken there by a tow car and put, okay, a bit more to the left, thank you, and lower it there, thank you, and we're going to put it together like that. Yeah, looks good, but it doesn't fit. This is the thing. Had it happened in real life, it would fit. And the impact on this car that was parked here is also like a bit strange. So, magic wonder. Here you have the car. The rear window is complete. This is the one they've abandoned. And this photo is taken, I don't know who took this photo. If you notice, you will find very little private footage of these things. Even though they're in front of thousands of people, you will only see the official videos again and again and again. How come? Where everybody's got mobile phones nowadays with cameras. Where are all these normal pictures? Where are they? No, you will see the same photos again and again and again. So of course that car is standing exactly where the car that was found with the evidence in. This is the one. So you see these ones. You got like pedestrian crossings, and you see these poles where they park the cars. So of course, this is a photo where I've got one that is not cut like this. I should have taken that instead. But you see this pedestrian crossing, and there's 1, 2. You see 1, 2, but the car is over there. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not positioned in the same position. And this car is not the same. So I would suggest that I think that they had the one first, the one that they were used in the thing itself, but then they needed the new one with the evidence and everything prepared to point to the patsies. So they just parked them next to each other, and then they reversed and took away the other one. Because the distance between where that one is parked and that one, can you see? You could get a car in there. I want to say one thing. I don't know if I'm pushing it too far, if I'm being too cynical, but to me it seems like it's almost like they started selling ad space on these false flag operations, because they know that millions and millions of people are going to watch it. Millions and millions of people are going to watch on news and YouTube and all of that. So you see this car. This is not a good quality part. That car is polished like it's a showroom example. It is a showroom polished version, and it's lifted up very slow, so it's like, hallelujah. Citroën C3. Okay. Then you have in the newspaper room where these journalists or drawers were shot. Not sure if they were. I need to look into that more. But there's very strange things with that crime scene as well. Then you have the blood. I don't know if you've seen that photo. There's a big puddle of blood on the floor. And then when it comes to blood, depending on where the wound is, if the blood is very oxygenated, if it's blood coming from the lungs where it's being pumped, it's pinkish in the color. When it comes back to the heart, it's darker. But always on these days, with Boston bombing, all these false flags, it's bright red. It's like so red, and it keeps red hour after hour. You see the crime scene 5 hours later, still there. The impact. It doesn't work if it's brown and you have to, is that really blood? No, it's red. Oh my God. So you have to look at these things as well. And there, with this blood, where people are taking photos, oh, it's so tragic. There's this big red thing, and then there's an office chair put on top of it, and it said that the person who was killed was sitting in the chair. So of course there would be blood on the chair, or maybe a bullet hole going through. No, it's just put there, absolutely intact. There's no blood on the wheels. It's like, in my opinion, blood, okay, and then we need to, it doesn't really look so good. We put a chair there. That's more like it. Okay, can you take it? And then what are we looking at? Right next to the blood, there's a red bag where it says Puma. It is right there, like Puma. So I'm just suggesting, Citroën, you got ISIS, every single vehicle, everything that is connected with ISIS, Toyota. You have as far as I know, every terror act that has been filmed or where the terrorists have filmed themselves, GoPro, action camera. Okay, and this one as well, I was just waiting for it. The guy up on the balcony, well, I was using my GoPro camera. I'm like, come on. So I would say look into these things. Also like the Rothschild family, they just happened to buy the Charlie Hebdo newspaper just a few weeks before. Oh, poor guys, they only made like 10,000% profit. They went from 60,000 to 7 million copies. Look at Jerry Silverstein before 9/11. Oh, just by coincidence. Oh, these two skyscrapers, we have all kinds of problems, all of this. Let's insure them for a lot, and let's include terror acts, including flights, airplanes that they are built to resist, but just in case terror acts. And then he got double, because there were 2 different attacks according to him. Look at before the JFK assassination, the Olof Palme assassination. Check out the stock market. That's where you see the insider trading. People are aware of it, and just before it happened, loads and loads of things are going on that just makes an absolute bullion bufflin for these people. You know the Olof Palme assassination? What a tragedy. Yes, but not for everyone. It was almost the all-time high on the Swedish stock market. People made absolute fortunes. One of them, Erik Penser. Okay. So, the thing is that I've looked into so many of these false flag operations, trying to find out, are they real, are they not? And at this point, I don't even think that there is such a thing as a real terrorist. I mean, the one that we think, Allah Akbar, this one, I don't think that every single time I looked into it, inside job, and if it's done by people, then they're being trained, equipped, and financed by the same elite group through the FBI, the CIA, the Mossad, where we, the normal people, think that the CIA, the Mossad, the FBI, the SEPO, and these things, that they're, of course, they're separated entities down here, but when they are, but the higher up you get in the power pyramid globally, the more connected they are. So when people say, was it the CIA? Yes. Was it the Mossad? Yes. Was it the mob? Yes. Was it? This is the thing, they work together up there. Anyway, since in 2012 I came out open. It sounds like I was gay, but I'm not. But it's like when you're in this world of conspiracies, at least I found out very early that there are 2 ways to go if you want to stay with the rest of the living human race. One is, either you need to get the spotlight big time on you, so that if something happened to you, it will just confirm what you've been saying and amplify it. This is why people like David Icke is still alive, because he has maintained the spotlight on him, and they are very afraid of creating icons or martyrs, because a martyr is somebody that you can see in countries like Iran or Latin America and so on, poets and so, that they executed thinking that they got rid of him, but then the name became even bigger and stronger than the person before, and it can be, you can't fight a thing like that because it's just too big for them. So they're very afraid of getting rid of people in the spotlight. But since I was Mr. Absolute Nobody, that was really not an option. So what I found out early on, that I need to go very discreet and be, if I want to be part of the rest of us. So I did. I think absolute no one of you had heard about me before 2012. And then I just felt, once it started, I just felt I need to get the spotlight on me. So I've been doing like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 interviews per week just to keep it on me and get the info out there off my shoulders. Anyway, one of the things that has happened through this is that I met absolutely amazing people, absolutely incredible human beings, very courageous, very honest, strong, like Helge's husband, for instance, and Helge as well. She's the wife of Christopher Bollin, who's been here speaking before. I mean, very courageous people that stand up for what is true and right and so on. I also get a lot of emails from people that I have absolutely no idea who they are. Some of them are very weird, and some of them are very interesting, and some of them are, I don't know, is it true, is it not? They say, I'm Mr. from the CIA or SEPO or FRA or whatever. I don't know, it's just an email. Even when I meet people, I have no idea. I don't know who you are. You just know me as you see me. You have no idea if I've got a double agenda and so on. I'm just saying it, so be critical. Just because I or anyone else says something, be critical. Use your own mind, use your own brain, and see, does it make sense, and so on. Anyway, so a while ago, the fall, a few months ago, I was sent an email where it said that this is inside information. The next targets that they're going to hit is Ireland, France, Denmark, and Italy. I said, okay, fine, that sounds interesting. I had no idea. I put it in a folder. Then, a while later, I heard rumors that there had been a bomb thing outside Dublin. And at the same time, I was sent an email saying that I saw this very eerie image being circulated in Irish press. Okay, and he said, I don't know, I'm just sending it to you but I thought it was really tasteless and a bit scary. I had a look at it. This is the one he sent to me. And it was tweeted around as well by somebody called Israel in Ireland. Once again, I'm not I'm not an Israel hater or anything like that. I'm just pointing things out, okay? And on that image that he was talking about, it said, Israel now, Dublin next. And there's this, it's like the Grim Reaper type of statue there that I think is not a very nice one. And then the next one, Israel now, Paris next. Mona Lisa with a chador and a bomb there. Israel next, Israel now, Denmark next, the little mermaid with a machine gun. And then it said, Israel now, Italy next. And some Italian statue with bombs on it. So when I received this one, I thought, hang on, this is what this other guy, this source, were mentioning. So I thought, okay. I started looking into the thing in Dublin. There was a bomb thing that was aimed at the Intel plant outside Dublin. It was defused, nothing happened. And ISIS, sponsored by Toyota, took the responsibility for that one. So, and then suddenly Paris happened. I thought, oh, when that happened, I thought, is Dublin, oh my God. So I started looking into this one, just like we've done, and right away it's very obvious, at least in my eyes, that it was a false flag, some kind of set-up thing for us to react so that they could come with a solution. So I thought, oh my God, if that happened, and then that one, this could mean that Copenhagen would be next. So what I did, I went out in several different interviews and on Facebook saying, please be aware, when these false flag operations are carried out, one of the main ingredients is a so-called drill. The drill is an event where they say that they're having this drill for your protection. It's always for our protection. They're so caring. And the reason, in my opinion, that they have these drills that have the exact same scenario as the real thing that later happens is because in that way they can get the vehicles in position, they can get explosives in there, they can get the extras in there, they can, without people reacting, no, it's just a drill for our protection. They're just setting this whole thing up because they care about us. And then halfway through, suddenly, the drill goes live. And many times people who are taking part of the drill have absolutely no idea that it's a live action. You can hear that around 9/11. There were several drills going on with NORAD and so on. You can hear the interaction over with the radio communication in the Air Force. They say, is this the drill or is it real? Is it drill or not? You got the 7/7 bombings. There was a drill doing the exact same scenario as what actually happened. So there was even English police that was there outside one of the subway stations. They were standing there. Boom! The bombs went off just like it was supposed to do. People were stumbling out. There was smoke. People were screaming, dying. And the police was just standing like, oh my God, it's so realistic. I can't believe it. It really looks real. He looks dying, I tell you. So they weren't even helping the people coming out in the streets and so on. This drill is the thing you have with Estonia. There was an identical drill done several times, the exact same scenario. Even there was the same commando words where I think it was Captain Skylight 1 and 2, were some of the commands that was used in the drill, and this was just to get some people, because of fire, in certain positions on the ferry. This was done, they trained this drill several times, and the whole scenario with the explosives put exactly where they later blew up, the exact same place where the ship went down, was part of the drill. And while the accident happened. People heard over the what do you call it? Exactly, they heard the exact same commander, Captain Skylark 1 and 2, exactly like this. I'm saying a drill is a very thing. And when you look at, for instance, the Boston bombing, there you had a drill as well. The Boston Globe went out. In just a few minutes, we're going to have a bomb drill. Where were they going to have the bomb drill? Just outside the main library. You see the bombs exploded. You go down on the street level. You go Google Map, you look there. That's where the bombs exploded. You do a 180. You're looking straight into the entrance of the main library. Exactly where they said the drill was going to take place, where when the so-called bombs placed out. And the similarities with these false flags are incredible because they use the same thing again and again. If I jump a little ahead, I want to say, why was it in front of the library? Because when they set these things up, they need logistics. They need cafeteria, they need food, they need toilets, they need makeup, they need electricity, power, they need a place to put the vehicles, they need all of these things. Makeup, equipment, also to hide all the extras and so on, so that when the whole thing goes live, boom, then Team A out, Team B, you stand by, and sometimes they even got color coding where they have straps around the neck with the name tags and color coding, because Team A over there, okay, Team B, and go in, blue team in, and so on, because it's like this. You will see in Boston bombing, all of these things. Look out for the straps. Sandy Hook, all the parents going home, blue, same necklace, Boston bombing. I saw it at the Bilderberg meeting. I was invited as one of the key speakers outside the hotel in the Bilderberg meeting in 2014, where I humbly believe that I managed to stop a false flag massacre there that they had planned, just by seeing the signs there. Anyway, so why was it outside the library? Because the library on Patriots Day, they always love the dates, and the very symbolic dates. Patriots Day was closed, and that is the perfect location to have all the equipment, everything in there, so normal people cannot see it. And then when it opens up on Monday, everything is cleaned and everything is gone away. I jumped to the Copenhagen thing. You have the synagogue where the second shooting was. You look at that one, back street, no traffic, no nothing. The synagogue is here. You go down Google Map, you do a 180, and what are you looking at? You're looking straight into the main entrance of the Copenhagen library. Anyway, so what I did was I said, please, I went out on the different interviews, international, because I want to be one step ahead of them. We've come one step behind them all the time, looking at the effects. I want to turn it around. I want us to be one step ahead, saying even so when they start setting it up, I'm going to, I see you, back off, get a life, go home, hug your wife, leave us alone. So I want to be one, that is why I'm doing these things. It's not without risk, I'm telling you. So anyway, that is why I want to focus on how they do it, so that we will become aware of how it's pulled off. It's like you look at a magician, he's doing like this. Oh my God, it's a flower, it's magic. How did he do it? He does it again. Oh my God, it's magic, it's a flower. How did he do it? Then after a while you get bored of looking at it from that angle, so you start moving around, you start maybe looking from there, and you see he's doing it like this. As soon as you see he's doing the trick with that arm, you won't buy this one anymore, you won't even look at it. That's why I'm saying, let's widen our view, let's see it from different angles, let's just expose what's going on, so that as soon as you say, well, Simpson, no, it's behind your back. It's behind your back. They have very little imagination. These templates have been used for so many years, they only got very few of them. So let's just expose it once and for all. Anyway, so I went out. God, I repeat myself. I went out on Facebook and other medias and said, please, 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 people in Copenhagen, if what I think might happen is true, then something might happen in Copenhagen. It will be some kind of a drill. Look in your newspapers, look at in the local TV and so on. If they come out and say, we're going to have a drill for your protection, go there, bring your friends, bring your cameras, bring your mobile phones, film them. It will look like a film set. You will see all of these different vehicles. There will be people in overalls looking very discreet or pulling cables or whatever. Film them. Make it very obvious to them that we see them. We see what they're doing. Maybe it is a drill for our protection. Maybe there is a more sinister agenda. But whatever it is, that we have nothing to lose. We can only win by doing this. If not, nothing else, have a nice evening with your friends on town and do some filming. You can edit it and make a rock video out of it. Anyway, so what happened was that I went out saying that, and then the very next day, somebody sent me a photo of a poster in central Copenhagen where it said, maybe I've got it here. Here it is. Oh, sorry about that. He sent me this photo of a poster. You see a nice woman in uniform smiling, and it says that we are practicing for safety. This is Danish. And it says that the night between January 14th, we're going to have a drill at the central train station in Nørreport in Copenhagen for your sake. Anyway, so he sent this photo to me and said, could this be something? Is this what you're talking about? I said, thank you so much for being so observant. I went out big time saying, please, it's tonight, go there, go there, go there, if what I suspect is true. People went there, they filmed it, absolutely nothing happened. So the day after I thought, whew, thank God. The main thing is that nothing happened. Maybe I was just paranoid, maybe not. Nothing happened, great. 1 month later, on the day, on the hour, the thing in Denmark was pulled off. Where was it pulled off? Right by this train station. And I'm going to go into details about that as well. So this is what I'm saying. By observing the details, how they pull it off, we can get ahead of them and make this madness stop. Because this group is behind so much mayhem in the world that just by transcending this problem, the world will just lift on its own. And here we are, all these symbolic little signs and all of these things they pump before this. Look at it as it's called psyops, how they mess up our minds and play around with us and do all kinds of stuff that we're not aware of. This is 5 days before the attack, okay? Discreet, I think not. This is one of the major newspapers in Denmark. I don't know about you, but I noticed the number 666. This is the number of the beast. Okay, and this I'm not into ritualistic, satanic type of these type of. This is what they use themselves. This is very when you read about the agenda. All of this is one of the things. Is this one the pyramid? The all-seeing eyes are symbols that comes back again, and the pyramid with the you see behind us here we have these type of things. The pyramid and the fire and so on. It's in the Freemasonry network and so on. I'm not talking about Freemason on a lower level, I'm talking about in the higher ranks. So here we are, 666, and then here you said, I would say, very staring eyes, symbolically could be the all-seeing eyes. You got the triangle there with a radioactive sign, and it says the sound of Chernobyl, which might have been one of their things as well, operation. And then it says here, these two looks like 2 6s, I think, and then it says, let people draw the profit the way they want. Okay, I'm just pointing it out. Okay, so then we have chapter 2. I just want to say I'm a friend of Chip Tatum, who is a CIA whistleblower. He was for 25 years a deep cover CIA agent. He was one of the he was a black op assassin. He was a Night Stalker pilot. He was one of the pilots in the Iran-Contra scandal where they flew weapons out of the States and drugs in the tons. And he was the commander of Pegasus, an ultra-secret hit team personally controlled by George Bush Sr. They carried out 17 assassinations globally. he became a whistleblower in '92 after refusing to eliminate Ross Perot, because George Bush Sr. wanted to eliminate. Bush Sr. or the whole Bush family it's not the whole truth, but they are very central. And the level of criminality, oh my God, it's like, well, anyway. So he said that when they do these things, for one thing is that they have a very tight timeline, a very strict timeline, because they have, this is what we want to accomplish. This is, and to get there, we need that false flag, and that false flag to get the desired reaction so that we can come in with a solution. And then he said that he was involved in false flag operations as well. And he said that they had staff meetings before, like I'm going to the office there. They went there, had a nice coffee and staff meeting. How are we going to do this? How are we going to carry it out? What is needed and so on. And just after the event, when the bomb was blown up or the mass shooting was done, they had a follow-up meeting. So they met again. Did we get the required effect? Do we need to amplify it? And sometimes they did not get the required effect, so they had follow-up things. So be aware of these things, because when they happen, if it's not really the fright effect so that they can push forward that, there would be a similar thing happening. If you look at the beheading in Woolwich, for instance, the day after, an identical thing almost in Paris, and so on. So here we are, we had the Paris thing, and then almost identical thing in Copenhagen. So what have we got there? We get back to the theme again. Here in Copenhagen, they had, it was a meeting at a local cultural cafe called Krudtønden, which means the gunpowder keg, okay? The gunpowder peg. And what they had was they had invited the people, one of them, Lars Vilks, do you remember the Swedish artist from 2007 who had made an awful drawing of Muhammad with the body of a dog? Okay, so they invited him as well, and the ambassador of France was there, and so on, from Paris. So this was a whole follow-up event of the French thing that happened there. If it happened, awful, for sure. Let's look into the details. So there's this Palestinian guy, born in Denmark. Do you remember Abdul Karim Karumkara? I said when they used patsies. Well, his name was Omar Hamid Abdul El Hussein. Omar Karim Karumkara. I mean, it's not far off, Okay, so he, of course, when he saw that this man who drew Muhammad with the body of a dog, him being born in Denmark, totally Muslim, extreme Muslim, nobody had ever seen him like that or anything like that. So, of course, he wanted to kill people. So the official story says that he went to this cultural cafe. They were meeting in there. So somehow he got this automatic weapon. He stands outside, starts shooting right into the cafe, hits three police officers, and when he leaves, first it said that one man outside, a 55-year-old Dane, was killed by a headshot. Boom, he went down, and then this guy takes off running. He captures a car, he throws out a woman of a car, grabs the car, drives off. Unfortunately, he leaves some kind of ID that can later managed to track them. And then that's in the afternoon, 3:30 in the afternoon. Then 1 o'clock in the morning, he walks down a narrow back street in Copenhagen where the synagogue is. This synagogue had a very similar terror attack in 1985 that was blamed on Palestinians, and then the whole thing. That also involved so-called terror acts in Sweden, Denmark, and another country that I've forgotten. But, okay, same synagogue. It's the Jewish center in Copenhagen. So a perfect target if you want to say, oh my God, we've been attacked, bad boy, bad boy. Okay. So here's a Palestinian one attacking. And it's 70 years after the Auschwitz, the liberation, all of these things where the Jews are the victims. Once again, I need to amplify, this has nothing to do with anti-Semitism, I can't even say it, I love people, whatever, Muslims, Jews, whatever, as long as they've got a good heart and behave in a loving way towards their fellow human beings. So this, I'm just pointing out the theme, okay? So he goes, the official story is that there's a bar mitzvah going on, 1 o'clock in the morning, there's 80 people in there, and this guy, there are 2 police officers outside and 1 Jewish guard. So he passes and he pretends to be drunk, then he returns, passes the 2 police officers, turns around, shoots the Jewish guy right with a headshot, boom, drop him down. Then he shoots the 2 police officers that are hit in the leg and the arm. They're always hit in the leg and the arm in these different ones, the police officers. Wounded police officer is a repeated theme in these things. Why? Because these are the people they control. If they're shot at all. Because these 2 police officers had automatic weapons, so of course they fired back, but unfortunately, both weapons were defect. I'm really a bummer, I must say, my God. Okay, it's only a high-tech country and they're very trained, highly skilled, all this, but 1 shot is fired, but he gets off. So he runs off, and then 5 o'clock in the morning, the police has then managed to identify who he is, Omar Hamid Abdel El Hussein, and so they stalk this address in Copenhagen, and he said to come home, and there's police in a car, and then they call him saying, stop, you know. But what he does is, he's like Billy the Kid, he pulls out 2 guns, shoots from the hip, boom, 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 against the police officer who have to defend themselves. So they shoot him 38 times, and he dies. Okay. So very intense 24 hours. So we start looking at the evidence. Okay. This is, while this happened, there was a, I think she is Ukrainian speaker, a woman. She was giving a speech about the importance of the freedom of speech and how important it is not to give in to terrorism and so on. And there was a recording copyrighted by BBC where they recorded the speech of her. Now, if you listen to that, I'm going to give you 2 different versions, okay? One is a sound recording, the BBC one, and you hear her speak, then suddenly there's gunfire. Please listen to the gun pattern, the shots fired, how it's, you know, like, listen to it like it was a drum pattern. And then listen to the lack of voices. You know, somebody starts shooting. I would say, if somebody was shooting in here, somebody would say, scream or help or ouch or get down or some. You would also like hear chairs being dropped over. It was in a cafeteria, there would be glasses, cups, all of these things. Here you just have like this, like a flamenco class, something like you hear that. And then somebody is dropping a metal bar on what sounds like a concrete floor. Listen to it, and then I'm going to ask you to compare it to the second thing. And it's excellent if I had it.
I realized that every time we talk about activity of those people, there will be always, yes, it is freedom of speech, but. And the turning point is but. Why do we still say but when we...
Okay, that was the whole sequence of shots fired. Okay, the official story is like 30, 40, 50 shots fired. Not. Did you hear all the people screaming? Did you hear the flamenco class? Did you hear in a cafe who has a metal bar like this? I'm just saying question mark. Okay. Then somebody outside the cafe has filmed. Unfortunately, it's so blurry, but you will see the shots being fired in the glass. If you can memorize how the shots were fired, then check this one out. Listen again. Did you see? Not the same shooting pattern. I've put them together. Do not match at all. Plus, there was also a boom, like some kind of explosion inside. Okay, as far as I know, whoever filmed that has not been identified. You can find it on YouTube. It says blah 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 Copenhagen shooting raw footage. Okay, so we have the guy who officially was standing outside shooting right in through the windows. Why, if somebody is filming, would they not film the guy shooting? Why would they film that one? And where's the guy that was shot in the head outside the cafe? Why can you not see anyone on the inside? Why can't you? I'm just pointing out. So you look at the position of this cafe. Like I say, they love these dates. They love to carry them out on the same date. They love when it play games with your mind. So the name of the cafe is the Gunpowder Keg. Kruttunnan. Okay. On the biggest false flag ever was the gay folk thing in where he was going to blow up the parliament. This is also the whole thing, you know, with the mask nowadays, the anonymous mask, is connected to that guy fawkes thing. That was called the gunpowder plot, or the gunpowder bomb. I'm just pointing it out. I'm not saying it's for sure. I'm just pointing it out. So the date, when was the date? It was on Valentine's Day, but it was also on the date when the USS Maine was sunk in the port of Havana in 1896. The US used that as a false flag, saying that, oh my God, Spain has blown this ship up. There was, I think, 266 US Marines that went down with this ship. So US said, it was in Havana on Cuba, but they said, no, Spain did that, so we're going to start a war with you. So they started a war with Spain that had absolutely, it's proven now, they had absolutely nothing to do with it. And the result of this war was that they got, I think it was Costa Rica, Guam, and the Philippines, they took from Spain. I'm just saying false flag operations being used to rape and plunder. And you look at this cafe, one of the things they need is they need to control all parameters, incoming, outgoing, traffic, in, out, background action, and they need somewhere for logistics. Once again, dressing rooms, makeup, catering, toilets, these type of things. Okay, we look at that one. For one thing, this cafe has a stage itself, that's a theater stage inside with makeup and so on. But also just 100 meters from it is Österbro Stadium, where you have all the access to these things. You can get all vehicles in there, you can go, everything can be in there without people from the outside noticing. You just drive it in, prepare. Then you had 30 people invited to this. There was about 20 police guards. The balance, you know, officially there were only a few, but then as soon as the shots were fired, it was just, there was police officers everywhere, and many of them so-called PET officers, which is the Danish security police. Very efficient police once it happened. They were just, boom, there. I would just, a little question mark, could they be involved in it? Because this is very often what happens. The people, boom, and then they move in so that they have total control over what follows. You see that, you go down Google Map, you will see that where this is filmed from, there's a big bush and trees and so on, because it's right on the edge of a park, meaning there will be no people there, there will be no way you can look into the area from this point. You look at the street itself, it turned off so that it's only for bicycles. So you will not have any problem with traffic and going like this. Okay. So we have the man that was murdered, that was killed. He's normally just referred to as a 55-year-old, and that the Swedish artists were the target for this hit. Okay, that he wasn't even speaking. He was in there, and he was taking inside a cooler room where they were lying down. He was totally cool. They were telling jokes to each other and so on. In that, that's what his words. Very cool individual. And the man that was murdered outside with a headshot, he was a Danish filmmaker. So wouldn't it be sort of like just normal intelligence or police work? Who was killed? Maybe he could have been the target. No. Not at all. He did documentaries. If I was a detective, I would say, let's just check him out. I mean, this is the guy that was hit. The other guy wasn't even anywhere nearby. No, they have not looked into him at all. The woman that the shooter grabbed, and they say he took her car and so, has she been interviewed? No. But I think, wouldn't it be sort of like a good idea just to check out what did he look like? Did he smell of garlic or whatever? And compared to the other observations of the guy. Then you have witnesses saying there were two shooters, and people inside said there were two shooters to start with. One dark skin, one with black hair, greasy hair, and a very light complexion. This turns, from these two, it's one guy. How did that happen? There's different observations of that they ran off and they walked very cool off. I would say one ran, one walked. Okay? So, let me see if I forgot anything. Also, yeah, the behavior, of course, these people that were shot at, I would say would be a bit upset. I would be. I mean, I don't get shot at every day, so I mean, just a little shock or something like that. No, the woman that gave the speech, she said that we cannot let this affect us. We must continue our standing up for liberties and the freedom of free speech, okay? So she calls everyone back. So they sit down again. I mean, we only got a dead body outside with a bleeding headshot. They call everybody back. She finished her speech. Then she puts on a video. They're still there. And they watch the video, and then they go home afterwards. I don't know about you. If somebody had been shot just outside, bullets had been fired in here, the bleeding police officers in the bar just outside, I would call home and say, listen, darling, I'm okay, don't worry about it, but I just want to watch this video because it's really interesting, and then I'll be home. No, nothing like that. It's like, does it make sense? That's all I'm saying. Does it make sense? Am I paranoid or isn't? And I just want to say that an MI6 agent who turned whistleblower explained the meaning of the word paranoid. He said it's a total misunderstanding or misuse of the word nowadays. According to him, I don't know if this is correct, but this is from his mouth. He said that the word paranoid means the ability to see the connections between events that people normally don't see. So being paranoid is to see, oh my God, this makes sense, In that case, I'm a proud paranoid person. And also, you got the people who were listening to this speech, they were in a part of the building to the left where there's a theater stage. Okay, so they were in there. There was a closed door and like a curtain pulled in front of it. Then the shots fired and everybody. All of these things happened. The people that were out in the bar, all of them that was hit, police officers. Where were they hit? Arms and legs. You see photos from the inside. I don't know, maybe I have them here. There's one guy, he's lying there, he's got a bandage around his leg. It's a series of photos. So of course somebody's helping him. No, he's just lying there. There's another guy with a bandage around, walking around, speaking in his mobile phone. And the guy is still there. There's no glass, there's no, yeah. Oh. Can you please work? Well, here it is. Do you see here we have police officer number 1. Can you see the bandage? Here's one guy. He's very seriously hurt. Here he is. He's very seriously hurt. Thank God they care for him. And these guys are just doing nothing, but you can see he keeps walking around and changing position. You see it's said that it was riddled with bullets, Some reports talk up about 200 shots. Where are they? Okay. So here we have the synagogue. The synagogue, the center of everything that is holy, and the center for the Jewish community in Copenhagen. This is exactly where I said that once you stand in front of it, when you turn 180, you're looking straight into the entrance of the Danish library, where I would suggest what was going on in there. That is a place where they could have all the equipment, all of these extras, all of these things. I forgot to mention in Paris, small back streets, you need these things for the logistics. You need a space to park the cars. You need coffee, food, toilets, these things when you carry them, because these things take time. Maybe you have to do more than one take. Maybe you have to do all of these things. You look at the Charlie Hebdo office. I went Google mapping up and down, and there we have it, about 100 meters from the office. There's a small little square, and there's a theater called the Comédie Bastille. Okay. There you have makeup facilities, toilets, bathroom, and there's photo taken of where there's ambulances standing and other people in emergency. What are they doing? Of course, the shooters at that time were still on the run, on the loose. I would be maybe like this. No, they're standing, chatting, having a coffee, not even looking at that direction. People, and often also you will see that there's somebody with a laptop. I would say the ones that, okay, now team 2, go out. Yes, thank you very much. Time for you. Ambulance, are you on standby? Okay, thank you. And sometimes you see them with headsets as well. So, this awful thing happened. The Jewish guy, headshot. Was he killed? Was he not? I don't know. Was the police officers wounded? Once again, leg and arms. Both of their weapons did not work. What are the chances? And then you have this whole thing with the people inside the synagogue. There was one guard that said he heard the shots being fired. So what did he do? He went in there and said, did he say, listen, get under the tables, there's something awful happening outside? No. He said, please, can you gather in the rear end of the room? I mean, nothing about panic or anything. Did he mention the guy outside that was killed? Not really. He mentioned him, but just yeah. But I'm very proud of the way we handled the situation and so on. Okay, and also the police officers, why do they use police officers? It's their own, or people in uniform. As soon as people have uniform on, they go without identity. We just see them as a police, a soldier, and so on. And we never asked for their identity. And if they present the identity, when they're dead, check out the identity. I'm going to identify several victims of different shootings that are the same person, I would say, because we're talking crisis actors, so-called crisis actors. Anyway, also there's some footage in the hours after this shooting where you got the Danish police standing there, oh my God, it's awful, I've got automatic weapons, back off. And then you see in the background that there's some police officers here trying to clear the street from a big vehicle, a massive big bus going against traffic. This is like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So what is that bus? I would suggest could very well be getting all the equipment, the evidence, everything out from the library, getting it out. But also, we were talking about this subliminal thing, how they use. Right after these things, both in Paris and in Denmark, Netanyahu, the leader, the part of the global elite and the so-called leader for Israel, went out and said, my God, we need to bring all Jews home to Israel, as many as possible, come back. We need to evacuate, this is his word, evacuate the Jewish population to the state of Israel. Here you have the bus. I don't know if you can see it. It says evacuation. Evacuation. And the street where the synagogue is, if I take you back in history, before the Second World War, there was one night where there was a lot of attacks against the Jewish population. Synagogues were smashed, burned, shops, Jewish homes, and it was called the Crystal Night because there was so much glass in the streets and crushed glass and so on. So what is the name of the street for the synagogue? It's Crystal Street. Coincidence? I'm just pointing them out. And here we have the shootout. My God, the drama. Okay, so here's the guy. The description of the guy is that he has black trousers and a black top with white writing on the sides like this. And it's said that the police recognized him because of that he fitted the description. So of course he has black trousers. So it's said that they called him and said, give up or stop or whatever. He pulls two guns and starts shooting from the hips. They even say from the hips, Billy the Kid type of thing. So you see this dramatic, can you see the window is crushed? So where's the glass? It's on the outside. Sloppy. Had he shot at the police officer, I would suggest that the glass would be on the inside. I would also suggest that on this side you would have, you can't see it here, but you would have bullets going out. There's nothing there. Then this guy is said to have been shot 38 times. When you check the background, the wall, the window, everything, all 38 shots hit him. Pretty goddamn good. And then, of course, he would be a total mess, blood. 38 bullets is a lot. And, of course, some of it would have hit the head or anything. The amount of blood here is just staggering. There's nothing. There is, on there, something that looks red. Okay? Then it is possible to kill somebody by a cut artery. If you're hit in the groin, you can die from it, but from blood loss. Where's the blood? On the trousers, nothing on the street. And here, killed by 38 shots. So they say, how the hell, why did you need 38 shots? Because he had a bulletproof vest on. That's the official story. Okay, so they say that is a bulletproof vest that they pulled off. This is a crime scene. Why would they mess with a crime scene? 38 shots, he would be stone dead. So why even pull it off? But this is said to be the bulletproof vest. So of course, the bullets on the chest area would have been stopped and he would be killed by a headshot or something else that would be visible. So what are we looking at? And also I forgot to mention that the synagogue where the shooting was is very close to the train station where the drill was 1 month before. Am I coming through? Do you think there's some suspicious things going on here? Because the reason why this is so important is either we have a world filled with absolute mad Muslim terrorists, or we're looking at a totally different enemy from within. Problem, reaction, solution. Blame it on a patsy, get the reaction going, create something awful, so to get the reaction from us saying, and then they will come with a solution. Please.
3 plus 8 is 11.
Yeah, the comment 3 plus 8 is 11. Thank you, I did not notice that. Sometimes it's like these things, I think you take it over the top. I don't know. But one of the things, like they love 9/11, they love 7/7, they love 7/11, and these things, they keep repeating. And for instance, if you look at the Santa Barbara shooting, do you remember that one? Where there was this, when they were getting bored of the Muslim whole thing, it didn't really work anymore, and they needed to freak us all out so that the terrorist can be anyone. So what did they choose? They choose this young guy who looks like a model, and he was so hurt because he had been turned down by some women. Nobody wanted to date him, so he went on a killing spree. That's the first thing you want. And you see him recording in the car, and he says, "Oh, you women, you will get just up." And then it says in the lines, dramatic laughter, "Ha ha ha ha." I'm not making it up. And the sunlight is really nice, all of these things. Then he goes on a killing spree, and he kills all these women. How many? 7 victims, 11 wounded. The videos that after it was edited, 7 minutes, 11 seconds. There's so many details around 7-Eleven. It was outside of 7-Eleven. I don't know why they do these things, but I just say it keeps repeating. And in the newspaper, in one of the newspapers, it said that he was shot dead right outside of 7-Eleven. I'm like, what? And then you check out, Google Map is wonderful nowadays, so I've been walking around the streets, on street level. Where is the 7-Eleven? It's like 200-300 meters there. So either the witness was totally out of his answer, or what is going on? And this is where you see as well the 666, the 7-Eleven, these things that, they're playing their mind games, psyops for us to say, oh my God, we're under attack, oh, it's so awful, so that we will accept their agenda. I'm going down to Copenhagen tomorrow. I do not look forward to it because I think it's quite freaky when you go into the the beehive. Because when you start pointing these things out, you are not a very popular individual for the people who are behind it. So I'm a little bit nervous, but I still think it's very important to go there and do it because people are buying into it big time. And the more we expose it, the better. So I'm going to do a guided tour around there, and we're going to go from all of these different sites with a group of people. It's going to be filmed and so on. There's a lot of armed police officers and so because of the terrorism and attack on Denmark. And since people when they start criticizing, have a bit of a bad habit of dying or ending up in accident, I just want to point out I am totally optimistic. I feel great. I'm not depressed. My car has been checked. My heart is good. So should dear Mr. Dammegård end up among statistics, it will just confirm what I'm saying. Okay? I'm just one of many who is trying to expose these things. So anyway, I think, can you handle a little more? Are you okay for a little while more? Yes. Okay. We have the Ottawa shooting, because if you haven't noticed, the whole world is crazy at the moment. It is a mad world we live in. It's totally filled with terrorists and violence. We're going down and so on. I would say the absolute opposite. We live in a beautiful, beautiful world, but we're being messed around with a very tiny little minority. They call themselves the elite, I call them the minority, or the lightless. Okay, so Ottawa, my God, Remembrance Day, it's Patriots Day, they always take these ones to get the emotions going. It's also called Poppy Day, where it's remember the people who have fallen in combat, because they want you to support their war efforts. Okay, so we have this, sorry about that. We have this memorial. It's the War Memorial site in Ottawa. And this day, 2 people were driving around in a Toyota. Sorry, did I mention Toyota before? Anyway, it was filmed by the GoPro camera. And anyway, there were 2 guards. This guy, very nice suit, their kilt and all of these things. They were standing guards. And this black Toyota with 2 brothers, or whoever they wanted to blame it on, were very pissed off for some reason, and they wanted to kill people. So what they did was, one of them just ran up and turned around the corner, fired 4 shots into this poor bugger. He went down on the other side of the War Memorial thing, and all the photos, I didn't take that with me, but all the photos is like, you will see the whole monument, and then 1914 to 19 blah, 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 you know, and all of this, the dead soldier, the unknown soldier, and all of these, and there he is lying. So, if this happened, awful. We look at what happened, and you will see that when something like this happened, the normal reaction, if somebody here got shot, we would all gather around. We would see, can I help you? Can I, or call, or get an ambulance here. The photo's taken in the distance. It's totally empty, and it's cornered off with these plastic bands, you know, that the police do. So we're looking at a small group that are trying to save this guy. Okay. So the people who are trying to save this guy who has been shot with 4 shots are the heroes, and they're being interviewed everywhere, how heroic it was, you know, what they did, how they came together in this time of trauma and crisis. So what do? Once again, 4 bullet points and 4 bullet wounds. Let's give him some CPR. They do all of these things. And around it, there's absolutely no one. The only ones that are there are 2 of these people, that one. And if you look at these type of things, very often they got people, they look like bouncers, you know, that are standing there. They're not doing anything. They're standing around checking like I would say, bouncers. They don't want normal people to interfere. And if you see here, very discreet again, that one there, you see he's quite a big guy. That symbol, that's the emblem of the Royal Canadian Army. Clumsy, clumsy. And then you have this wonderful woman who was helping to give CPR to this man. And his name was Nathan Cirillo. Okay, very good-looking guy, you know, nice smile, all of this. This was taken just before he was killed. Normally these guys stand like rock, you know, like these guards. But here we suddenly have a photo with this laughing woman and, okay. And the monument, of course, in the back. We're back to the PSYOP, you know, to get the impact. So this woman was interviewed afterwards, and you see, when it comes to these people that are involved or so-called crisis actors, they have a very bad habit of not being able to stop smiling. They're talking, I just lost my 2 children. Yeah, I did. It was very awful. I know, it's really terrible. Turn down the volume, listen, don't listen to the words, see what their actions are. You will see, it's like they're having a great time, I don't know. So this woman, who had just had a traumatic experience with a man dying right in front of her, says, he was such a handsome and fun-loving guy. Fun-loving? He was dying? You never met him before? Did he pull a joke before he died? That is her words, and you see the smile. Such a nice, good-looking and fun-loving guy, okay? Then you have the whole thing around this small little group of people. It's still the same 6 people doing it, and there's an armed police officer around them, almost like they're like this, you know, leave them alone. But these are just bypassers, officially. They were just on the way home. Why are only they there? Where are all the other ones? And they put the victim on the right-hand side of the monument so that you couldn't see it from the main street. Then afterwards, the reporter was interviewing his colleague who had been standing guard next to him. Both of them with a poppy, you know, the red poppy, Remembrance Day, remember the fallen heroes, these type. And they go, so they're walking like this. So how are you doing? The poppy here. And then they come to the monument, and his colleague does. I mean, it's just the trumpets that are missing in the background and the big waving flag, you know. So, anyway, different themes, I would say, could be, because when you look at these things, they play with your mind. When they did the Ebola, the last one, you know, they've done, if you haven't noticed, they've tried all these different viruses for us to take the vaccines, you know, scare the crap out of us to take the vaccine, problem, reaction, solution. The Ebola was the latest. That's an old favorite. It was created in the 70s in the same labs as where they got the AIDS virus developed and so on. It's patented. There's even a patent for the Ebola virus and so on. But here they got an old favorite back in return. Why? Because it's got a good sound to it. You know, should we make a jingle? Ebola, Ebola. No, can we make a logo? Because we're talking marketing, how to seduce your mind into doing these things. But what they couldn't do the jingle. They used the logo, the biohazard thing. That's also they used in many computer games. And with the colors, the only one they could really use were the colors for the Ebola. I dare you, look at photos of the Ebola thing. The colors that are used in the color scheme is green, a neon green, a very strong yellow, and a dark skin. I have a newsletter on my website, Light on Conspiracies. In one of the newsletters, I put together 36 photos of different photos from different places, different countries about the Ebola. Every single one, the colors. The victims had a green T-shirt. He was lying, dying under a yellow car. The doctors had the green gloves and a cup, a yellow cup, and he was a dark-skinned person. It's like, again, be aware of it. Become aware of similarities. See, these type of. So we have the Ottawa. I call it the Lassie theme. Okay, so here we have the victim. His name was Nick Cirillo. Check out all the photos. It's the same length of hair. Okay, he is a military guy. I take that. Can you see the same haircut, the same unshaven thing? If you're a military guy, normally you should be shaved, I would say. But here, because it's cute, I would say, that he's a really nice, fun-loving guy. And you see, it's exactly the same, exactly the same, exactly the same, exactly the same. So how many dogs have this guy got? It's not the same dog. It's not the same breed. It's like, and in uniform, and so how many different dogs? I'm just wondering. I don't know. It would be like a family album, wouldn't it? Sort of your own dog, maybe? No, this guy has just got dogs all over the place. And then, after he died, God Almighty, here's the flowers, and where are the dogs? And the dog, and the dog, and the dog, and the dog, and the dog. Could we take the same dog? No, sorry, we take another one. And then, rest in peace, Nathan Cirillo. They started a fund for him to collect money. Okay, what do they do? Dogs, 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 dogs. Then I found this guy. I'm not saying, I haven't got it proven yet. Many people, whoops. Sorry, I don't know what that happened here. Okay. So this guy was killed in a massacre in Ottawa, 2012. Now this guy was killed in Ottawa, 2014. When you look at the teeth, the structure, these ones are selfies, so the angle is a bit different. I agree that there's a difference with the ears, but otherwise, I've had different facial experts looking at it, and so far they have agreed it's the same. The photos are now with a woman. Her name is Louise Gibson. She's a prize-winning facial recognized expert from the FBI who now have these photos. Because if we can nail this one, it is a step forward. They love these strange names when it comes to this. And then I'm just going to show you some other examples of, I don't know what they're up to. Now this boy, beautiful boy, if he got killed, I would get really emotional. Yeah, he was killed on the 14th of December 2012 in the Sandy Hook massacre, among other children. Awful, 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 if it happened. Sandy Hook is part of Newport in the States. You go in on the FBI's own website, you look on Newport, number of murders, number of homicides, 0. This mass shooting, many children. The whole thing about Sandy Hook, one major hoax. All of the people walking around, do you remember the tags? the name tags and the colors. Look at the families, look at all of them more or less have these tags. Anyway, also photos that was uploaded of all the families running around crying like this. These were uploaded to websites where the press can buy them, and the databases on these websites automatically updates and gives the date when the image was uploaded. Several of these websites, you will see that these photos were uploaded before it happened. Go figure. So of course, dear Noah Posner, 6 years old, who died in 2006, is dead, you would suggest or imagine. So here we are, exactly 2 years later, on the 21st of December 2014, in Peshawar in Pakistan. You have an awful mass shooting in a school where the evidence, when you look at it, it's just like, come on, guys, really shape up. It's not good when you go in and look there. And the whole thing, there's a military guy who goes around with a BBC reporter, how unusual, and he goes around, and what they say, they're not talking about, and this is what happened here, and they say, and here you can see all the blood here, and then when you walk for a look, there's more blood there, and there's some blood over there. My God, it's dramatic. They don't talk about, there was a young child here, a girl brutally chopped in two or something. No, it's the blood, it's the blood, it's the blood. I would say, get the reaction. Don't miss it. We put some over there as well, so you get the... Now, if you're not crying now, that look at that one. I mean, we put like 2 liters over there, that type of thing. And the whole thing is, there's I think it was 140 children killed here, officially. The difference in age is just incredible because they were in so many different classes. And then the only thing you have is like bullet holes in the walls, and then they burnt, because the headmaster was burnt. Awful. So you see this burnout thing. But then Noah Posner, and then exactly 2 years later, on the day, here he is again. Noah Posner. They went to school and never came back. These are among the victims in Pakistan. You see here, my God, it's the BBC, have their reporter on site. So let me see if I got a video. Oh, come on. Where is there? Okay, can I just tell you, when you see her, she will start walking along the wall where the photos of the witnesses are, or of the victims. Check out Noah Posner, because I thought, when I found this, I thought, this is a trap for people like myself. They photoshopped it in, and then they want people like us to react, and then they'll say, conspiracy theorists, you know. So here we are. This is live footage.
Who died in the Taliban massacre that happened here almost 2 weeks now.
Did you see
Since then, people have been coming here every day, leaving flowers, lighting candles.
My God, that was pretty loud. But did you see her? She was pulling. It's exactly. He's. Can you see? It's exactly. There he is. There he is. There he is. This is a totally different photo shoot. It's a different. There he is. And here he is in another one. Problem, reaction, solution. Check this one out. Pakistan plans to execute 500 terror convicts in the wake of school massacre. 500. There were a few shooters in there, so let's execute 500. And who says who is a terrorist? According to the new agenda, I'm a terrorist, you know. And so was Helge, who left, and her husband, just because we're trying to find the truth. Here, 500 they want to execute because of this thing. So did it happen? Are these other children? Was it real? Was anyone killed at all? I don't know. But what the hell is this? So we take another one if you hadn't enough. So after the France shooting, my God, it's so dramatic. You had the whole siege thinking in the kosher shop you know, where there were so many SWAT teams and everybody. So you had afterwards, France faces more than 50 anti-Muslim attacks. Whoa, my God, the drama. And you see this guy behind who's doing a forensic examination. Here he is, revenge attack, mosque, France, all of these things. And I thought, that photo, I have seen that before. So I started looking around everywhere. And what did I find? The NAACP bombing in Colorado. I mean, really? Who are they hiring? Is it Monty Python or what is it? It's like... Okay, so I see you're tired, you've filled up your hearts and heads and all of these things. I just want to say, I'm here in peace, I'm here in love, I'm here to spread forgiveness, compassion, all of these things, to be part of creating a beautiful future for the rest of us. I've gone out on many different shows, I've spoken directly to members of the elite, to people in uniform, and so on, to show a way forward. And this is one of the things I've published many times to the members of the global elite, as well as the police and armed forces who are protecting your hidden agenda. For so many years you've been trying to bully and control the world with fear and destruction. Please understand, you are only a few thousand and we are billions. Even with very advanced technology, you will fail in the end, and greed will never give you eternal happiness. Your souls also know that what you've been up to is totally wrong and is only creating very bad karma for yourself. Stop it. All most of us want is to live in peace and harmony while transforming this world into the paradise it's meant to be. So don't fear us. We will forgive and embrace everyone who decides to give up the corrupted mindset. It is now time to stop the madness in peace and joy, love and light. It's like, it really gets to me, because while we're sitting here picking our belly buttons and thinking, oh my God, it's going to rain tomorrow, it's a boring life, people are getting murdered, slaughtered, killed in absolutely innocent countries, where some of us come from these countries that are being victims for absolute incredible atrocities that are carried out. And the only way they're being carried out is because we are allowing it by being totally brain dead and asleep. I do not mean to criticize us, but really, you know, they treat us without respect. Do we earn their respect, really? When they can pull it off again and again and again and again, and we say, oh my God, again, oh my God, again, oh my God, again, oh my God, again, oh my God. This has been going on for such a long time and we're still buying it. It's time for us to say, hang on, I've seen this before, don't try it. You know, don't even do it. Get a life, you know, stop messing us up. We've had enough, we're tired, and the time has come to create a beautiful world for all of us. So, I have a wonderful Raja Yoga teacher that is not Raja or yoga for the body, I'm stiff like a log, but it's Raja Yoga for the mind, how to control the mind. Because please be aware, there are such things as real dangers. Dangers exist, but fear is only in the mind. And it's through fear, they need to have us fearful to be able to control us. So the more we get out of the fear mode, the less they can control us. And I've seen wonderful examples of in laboratories where a very, very high frequency, like the frequency, what is in the universe is the frequency, the highest one is the one we call love, real love. I'm not talking about love like I'm in love with you, I fancy you, baby, that type of thing if you're nice to me. Not that type of love. I'm talking about the love between a mother and a child, somebody that will make a father just jump into a house on fire to save some of his children or a dog or whoever. That type of love that will make a mother be able to pull a car that weighs a few tons off someone. that power, the power of love, is a very, very high frequency. It's even higher than the frequency of thought. The lowest one is pure terror, pure fear. And the reason I at least think that they want us to keep pumping us with fear is to get us down with our heads in the dirt where they can control us. So that's why they need to keep us fearful. Push us down so that their frequency is a bit higher than ours. Because in a laboratory, when you let a high frequency and a low frequency meet, what happens is that it's not that they start fighting in the middle and one of them ends up and wins over the other and we end up in the middle. The lower one, it gets annulled. It just, disappears. Just like when you go into a dark room, you switch on the light. It's not that the shadows are like, I'm not leaving. They just disappear. Boom. The same here, and they are very fearful of us becoming not afraid. So the way I see it, I'm not a religious person, but I see people like Buddha, Muhammad, Jesus, like super hackers. They cracked the code, especially, I would say Jesus, he was one of the first ones, to say that in this matrix that we are living in, if you meet a problem with a higher frequency, you annul the lower one. So why not go for the highest one? Whatever the problem is, meet it with love. Meet it with love and it goes away. So the way with these people, they want us fearful, they want us to get violent, they want us to react so that they can crush us. I would say, go for love, go out of fear mode, and they will not be able to control us the way they are. Inform yourself. Let's inform ourselves so we can see what's going on, open up and see, my God, the world is beautiful. There's no millions of terrorists trying to blow my butt off all the time. I'm actually quite fine, you know. See, look around, look at all the things that you can be grateful for. Because gratitude is the way to raise your energy. If you don't know how to deal with these people, if you don't have time to surf around on the internet and get totally absorbed by conspiracies, fill your heart with gratitude. The more grateful you are, the less possibility it is for them to grab you. They want you down there by the balls, by the throat. So I would very much suggest, do not look upon them with revenge, hatred, anger if you can manage. Look upon this whole thing as a way of evolving us spiritually. We have been so asleep that apparently we needed a kick in the butt the size of these things that is happening for us to wake up. So I would say this is a beautiful time to be alive. Very scary, very challenging, but beautiful, because this is the time it's happening. This is the time. This is a fantastic time. The native Indians say that the spirits on earth now are the strongest of the strong. We have been elected or selected by our dead ancestors to come down at this time, not to be wuss and like wimps and saying, oh my God, it's getting scary, I don't want to. We are part of it. We are part of it. This is the time to stand up in transparency and love and bravery and just expose this, transcend it, not by force. They want us to hit back. If you hit back, it would justify them squeezing us to crush us. So I would very much suggest non-violent, total fearless exposure. And if I can just suggest one thing, it sounded like an applaud. One thing that works for me is that people see me as fearless. I say the correct term is shit scared at times, because this is a very scary area to go into when you really dig into it. You never know, it's a minefield, and you never know when you stepped on a mine until it's too late. I've lost friends, I've seen people murdered, killed, slaughtered, their children. It's shit scary, still needed to be done. So a little one that helps for me is if I can keep my mind in love in a fearful situation. The one that works for me is the word divine. When somebody is standing screaming at me or threatening me or pointing a weapon at me or something like that, as long as they don't pull the trigger, I'm fine. The rest of the thing is here. The fear is only in the mind. And what I try to do in these situations is, when I keep repeating the word divine, it reminds me that this person very often do not know what he's doing. He's been tricked and duped and all of these things as well. He believes in what he's doing, but he has absolutely no idea that what he's doing is totally wrong. But when I keep repeating, divine, divine, he's somebody's father, he's somebody's brother, his mother loves him, that will keep me out of the monster mode. Because if I get scared, it's so easy to get scared, and then I will straight go into, my God, it's a monster, he can hurt me, he can do. But if I can focus and keep myself in balance, don't listen to what he's saying, turn the volume down, just see this face, divine, divine, divine. Maybe the gun is a plastic, maybe it's not loaded, divine, divine, divine. If you can focus on that frequency, I tell you, miracles happen. I've seen it in war zones. I've seen it in many different situations. It is incredible. The person who's trying to bash your head in gets very confused. If you try and hit, you're in his ball game. If you get fearful, you're in his ball game. If you're in love, it falls apart. And very often there's something, I don't know what it is, but something magical happens that diffuses his power. And very often, 20 minutes later, maybe you're sitting on a park bench, somebody, he's saying, you know, my wife doesn't understand that I want to go walk around in bulletproof underpants at home, and, these type of things. Or that I was out fishing with my boy the other day and we had a really great time. The guy that wanted to bash your head in, it diffuses it. So I would very much like to suggest, if you can, stay out of fear mode, stay in love, be brave, and let's put an end to this. Let's transcend this and create a wonderful, wonderful future for everyone, them included. And I have a Raja Yoga teacher, that's Raja Yoga for the mind, beautiful woman called Nalini Chelaram, and she always finishes with this beautiful prayer, in my opinion, beautiful. And it goes like this. May the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, love and light. May everyone, and especially the ones who hurt us, be filled with peace and joy, love and light. Victory to that light. And now I will be quiet.